What's up, Camp Broadside? I'm your host, Troy Mosby. How y'all doing? Hey, I want to thank you for tuning in tonight, man. We got a great episode ahead of us. Tonight, we got my new friend, Mr. James Brownfield, joining us. I met James in the local Kansas City area bow hunters page on Facebook, and he'd hit me up with this hammer of a buck he had shot. So we wanted to get him on here and hear this story of this buck. So we're going to talk about deer hunting. We're going to talk about some gear talk. We'll do a little bit of rimfire and air rifle competitions that he's involved in. So it's going to be a good one. So grab your seat around the fire and let's get ready to hear these stories. You know what I'm saying? But before we jump off into that, if you haven't liked and subscribed to our page, I'd ask you to do that, please. It just helps us to grow a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But without further ado, help me give a big old Camp Broadside welcome to Mr. James Brownfield.
Troy's talking about the 10-point miss. Swears it was close, but it don't sound like it. Brandon's grinning, bragging about his dope. Bartlett's spiked, well, we all know it's blood trails and bucktails. Round the fire where the whiskey sails. Every heart's a story, every shot's a chance. What's your story to tell? What's your...
I'm telling you, that shit was the craziest thing I ever seen.
James Brownfield, how you doing, man?
Good, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. Appreciate you coming on here and coming and hanging out with me today, dude.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
So I met James in one of the groups. I'd made a post and he posted a buck that he had shot. I think he shot it last year. Is that right? 24.
24.
Yeah, and beautiful buck. So I was like, man, I gotta get him on here and hear the story and whatnot. And so we got him here today, man, and we're gonna talk some hunting. We're gonna talk about that buck and maybe some gear talk and see where the conversation takes us, you know. But so before we jump off into the buck story, man, why don't you tell us kind of a little bit about who you are, how you got into hunting and whatnot, and we'll go from there, man.
Well, I came down here from Ohio. I've been down there. I lived there till I was 20 and moved down here. I came down to visit my mom and ended up staying. But I hunted down in Ohio my whole life. Lived in a little town out in the middle of nowhere called Burgles, and that's all we did. Play around in the woods back before cell phones and computers and all that good stuff that occupied everybody's time like it does now. We just chased the hills, chasing squirrels, camping out the creek. I mean, heck, I remember times when we're chilling out down there and catching crawdad, and brothers cooked them up in the corn cans on the campfire that we was catching suckerfish with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bow hunted and gun hunted and chased stuff around with BB guns, the 30-06s, and yeah.
So you've been doing this pretty much your whole life and whatnot.
Yep.
Isn't that cool, man? As a kid, though, the stuff when you think back about the stuff you used to do, just like that, cooking the crawdads in the cans and stuff. I mean,
yeah, I remember getting my first one of those little old black Calkin pistols they had way back in the day that shot the little darts.
Yeah.
And I'd be out in the garage trying to shoot bugs with it.
That's super cool, man. So you bow hunt. When did you start bow hunting and stuff? When did you start getting into that?
I was probably in my early teens when I first started chasing deer with bows. Not a whole lot of people in my family really bow hunted. Not many of them really gun hunted. You know, they'd go out and hunt with and stuff, but you know, it was mainly me and my twin brother, and you know, not many of our uncles or anything that lived close by. They didn't really do anything.
Gotcha.
But yeah, pretty much any kid that was around did about anything. But as far as bow hunting goes, we probably started in there probably early teens.
Nice.
I'd imagine.
I know when I was a big gun hunter, and I actually haven't gun hunted in years, but me and my stepdad, we did a lot of hunting. And one year I was just like, dude, why are we not bow hunting? Them guys start hunting in September. We get like a week and a half.
Yeah.
They're hunting for months.
Yep.
Why don't we get into bow hunting? So, and that's all it took. Next thing you know, I bought an old bow off a old boy. It was a PSE Buckmaster edition. Great little bow, you know. And man, I was hooked. My first sit out, the guy put me in a spot. I was just on a log, old fallen tree basically. And it was probably 6 feet in the air, and I was sitting on that log, and I had a little. It was a 6-pointer. He come in, and I was like, oh my goodness, he's 20 yards. And so I shot him. Well, he took off, and then He told me if you shoot a deer, this guy Greg. He taught me a lot about bow hunting, ins and outs, and your tuning your bow and paper tuning and all that stuff. He taught me that stuff, and so he had told me if you shoot one, give it an hour, give it time to die, and then get down. So I sat there just dying inside.
Which is an eternity.
Yeah. So I'm watching the clock. I'm like, as soon as it hit an hour, I'm like, I'm down. So I'm following the blood. Well, then I had a doe coming right to me, and so I knelt down behind the tree, and I'm thinking, am I gonna get a shot at this doe? And sure enough, she steps out. So I'm behind the tree, and I draw back, and I just kind of poke around like that. And I needed her to take one more step, and she did. So I smoked her. So I was like, my first time bow hunting, I just shot 2 deer.
Tagged out.
I was hooked. I was like, I'm done, man. That's bow hunting. I got the fever, man, and I was all about it. You know what I mean?
Well, in Ohio, if you don't bow hunt, you're not gun hunting until I think the second week of December. I mean,
oh wow,
yeah.
yeah.
They're one of them states where they let the rut completely play out, and then gun season starts about I think around 10th to 14th usually. I mean, it's been a little while, but that's usually about where it's at. So it's almost our muzzleloader season here.
Yeah.
which I don't mind. I mean, I don't mind the gun season starting here. I wouldn't mind it starting later though.
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of let it play out, let some more stuff get bred, and let it do its thing.
Yeah, for sure. I'd agree with that 100%. Now you shoot everything. You shoot compound bows. You shoot crossbows. You were telling me you got a vertical crossbow that
Yep.
I'm really intrigued by. I think those things look so cool, man. I know, like I was telling you, a buddy of mine's got one, and he loves shooting that thing.
Yeah, I love bows. Like, I'm not picky. I've had, my first bow was an old Fred Bear when I was in my younger teens, and you could probably catch that. You could probably caught the arrow while it was flying towards you. I mean, it was slow, not a whole lot of penetration, but it would still knock down a deer you hit in the right spot. But yeah, I mean, I've owned a ton of different compounds, ton of different crossbows. It's all pretty fun to shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, like, even if you're not shooting an animal, like, and it's cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the product's not cheap, but I mean, as long as you're not slinging arrows outside your target or launching them into the woods, I mean, you could shoot a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
And the good thing with, like that vertical we was talking about, that thing, I've literally done nothing to it. And I've had that thing for probably 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
And I've literally done nothing except for twist the string up once or twice.
Yeah. What was that called? Who made
It was
it?
a Hickory Creek.
Hickory Creek.
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to check that
It's a
out.
mini vertical.
I'm pretty sure my buddy Anthony from Buzzard Roost, I'm pretty sure he has a Hickory Creek vertical.
Yeah.
Mini vertical.
You can chuck that thing in a backpack and just walk.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it weighs, I think, like 3 or 4 pounds.
Yeah.
So light.
Yeah, I read a lot on social media and stuff, and people will they'll talk a little crap on people that shooting crossbows and stuff, and I'm like, I don't care what anybody, as long as it's legal, whatever. You shoot what you want. Just like we were talking about you using a 9mm or something. You know what I mean? People just use as long as it's legal, use it. I don't care. Have fun and be out in the woods. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about to me.
Yeah, and I mean, you just got to, if you can't make an ethical shot, then you don't have a purpose taking the piece of equipment you got out. If you don't practice it, there's no point in whether you use a crossbow or a compound, because all you can do is watch them run off.
Yeah.
And they're going to end up dead in a neighbor's place, or they're just going to walk around wounded. And we see there's way too many pictures and videos of trail cameras in the cities or on private ground where deer walking around with arrows sticking out. It's just a bad look.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really bad look. I mean, if you can make a real ethical shot with a crossbow, do it.
Yeah.
If you can make one with a compound, do it. But just try and put them down quick.
Yeah, I like cool stuff, man. And like I said, that vertical crossbow, it looks so cool to me, man. I'm like, I told you I saddle hunt, so I just imagine being up in the saddle, up in the tree, you know what I mean, with a vertical crossbow, and I'm like, it just look. I'm gonna do it sooner or later, just to do
they don't.
It, you know.
Yeah, they don't have the weight. I mean, it's literally just a little mini compound bow, so you don't have the special bolts. I mean, you're shooting a basic arrow.
Yeah, that's what you said. You shoot a regular arrow.
Yeah, and I think it's like 25 or 26 inches long, so it ain't very long. Like, you don't have to worry about your limbs snapping. Like, you don't have to worry about all these extreme pressures that modern crossbows have. I mean, like, those Ravens and the 10 points. I mean, they're under serious stress. I mean, and stuff breaks.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing just reliable. Make it just reliable as a compound bow that's been sitting in a closet for the past 20 years you haven't touched.
Yeah.
And you pull it out and it'll still hold a group.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's reliability.
Yeah, that's super cool. Like I said, I want to check one out, man. And we would have talked about it. I'd been like, hey, bring that sucker over. We shoot it.
Yeah, I would have grabbed that thing and then brought it over.
Yeah, that'd have been super cool, man. So the buck that you sent me, if I remember right, you started seeing that in 2022.
Yeah. That was that first season of 2022. I started watching that one. Didn't get a whole lot of pictures of him the first couple of years, but they were all night pictures. I mean, where I was hunting was not his daytime spot. I knew he wasn't too far away because he's obviously hanging out, but it's just not. It just wasn't that spot where he was safe coming out in the daytime. But when 2024 rolled around, I got daytime pictures from a landowner of him up against the fence, full velvet, like he had some serious growth going. And then that first season,
I think that's one of the pictures you sent me was he was in full velvet.
Yep.
Beautiful, massive buck for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I would have never thought I would have seen him. I thought, just like all of them, like you see him in early season and they're gone. But yeah, he has started coming out real frequent because I turned my cameras on not long after that. And the one camera, I got butt shot after butt shot after butt shot of him jumping the fence, and he was walking right past it. And, it gets closer to season, and you expect their pattern to change. You don't expect them to hang out. You expect something to go wrong, which almost always happens. But, he was still there, still coming, and season was about to start the next day. I'm getting pretty antsy to go out, but it's a full moon. I don't have luck on full moons, and I'm probably not the only person to say that one, but it's just like bad for me.
Yeah.
Out on a full moon. I mean, like my squirrels don't even like me.
Yeah.
and man, so I opt to send my bow in, and then he's still coming out at the same time. I'm getting my string replaced, and I'm getting sick to my stomach because I'm watching him while seasons are going on.
I should be there,
and I should be there.
Yeah.
So finally get down and grab my bow the evening of the 19th, and I'm going hunting the 20th. Like, it's happening. So I leave work a little bit early, and I fly up. And
is this October or November?
This is September.
Oh, September.
Yeah, September.
Oh, so it's early.
It was miserable hot.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 93 degrees that day.
Yeah.
And people always worry about the cold front. Like, got to be out in the cold front to watch them move, or because they move. But I'm like, man, they're still eating. They're still drinking. Like, they're still moving. Like, I would have never once thought about going hunting in those kind of temps. Like, it's miserable. Like, you got seed ticks. You got
mosquitoes.
You got mosquitoes. You got chiggers.
Especially because
you got everything.
You do a lot of ground hunting.
Yeah, I do a lot of ground hunting.
So I think that's even worse when it comes to bugs.
Oh, it's terrible
because you're laying in the grass basically.
Yeah, and that's when Sawyer's becomes your best friend.
Yeah,
and that's.
I love me some Sawyer's. I will say that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about that. Yeah. but that's
permethrin. I think.
Yeah, permethrin. Yeah, then they have a lotion as well. That's good for like mosquitoes. Now the can of stuff, the permethrin, like it won't do nothing with the big ticks, but the little ones, you just brush off piles of them.
Yeah,
I mean, like instant.
Dude, this last year, my son, we went out hanging a couple presets, and I was up in the tree hanging a set, and he was down on the ground. I had him my pole saw so he could make sure clear out some shooting lanes. Yeah, and so. It's crazy. I hate to laugh about it because he was miserable. But we get done, we get back in my truck, and I mean, he's got this crap all over his legs.
Oh yeah, it looked like moving sandpaper.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing? And he's in my truck, and he starts wiping, and it's falling off into my floor mat, and I'm like, what is that? Also, we realized those are little ticks.
Get out of my truck.
I'm like, do not wipe that crap off in my truck, dude. Yeah. So we stopped, and he gets out, and I mean. He's white. It's crazy. Like you said, you just wipe it and they would just fall off.
Yeah.
And so the next day, I think I caught him. I mean, he was ate up. He had bites all. I was like, oh my goodness, dude. I talked to him about permethrin there because I was wearing permethrin.
Yep.
And I just never thought, I need to tell him. It just So I kind of take it as, it's partly my fault. He's pretty new into this, so he wasn't real sure.
Yeah.
And he got ate up bad, man. But I guarantee you now he uses permethrin.
Yeah, I've been there. I hunted in Warsaw, and I went out early season once to do some scouting, and that was one of the first few years that I've been in Missouri. So I didn't know nothing about seed ticks or chiggers. Like,
Yeah.
I had no idea. Like that's terrifying.
Yeah.
But, man, like in Ohio, like we have big ticks. Like we have a lot of them, but you can feel them. You just flick them off.
Yeah.
But not those little things.
No.
And
The way there'll be thousands of them.
yeah.
I'm like, what in the world, dude?
Yeah, my first run in when I got back to the truck, like I was a little itchy, like I didn't know nothing, but then I looked down and my arm literally looked like 220 grit sandpaper, that was just moving,
Yeah.
and I'm like freaking out trying to get these things off, and I can't get them off, like you're getting some off, you start gouging, but I didn't realize that I hit some poison ivy at the same time.
Woo!
So fast forward to the end of that night, and I've got covered in poison ivy. I'm taking tick bath, trying to get these things off, and the next day, like I'm in bad shape.
Yeah,
and
you're in bad shape.
I go into the doctor's office, and like next thing you know, like they're giving me steroid they're giving me steroid shots. They got me on some packs because I'm like having severe allergies to this stuff. And I bet I didn't sleep more than probably 5 or 10 minutes.
I don't mean to laugh.
It was terrible.
But I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm so allergic to poison ivy. So I can look at it and I'll just be covered in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I ain't laughing at you, but I know you were miserable.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Anybody that's been there knows it.
Yeah.
It's just not fun.
Yeah.
And when it's in certain spots, it's definitely not fun.
Definitely not fun.
You can't sleep. Like you go and you take a shower and you feel good. Like you feel amazing for seconds, and then you get out and you're back to itching.
Yeah.
That was a bad.
Yeah. One of the best things I found was, not that I don't think it really does a lot, but it feels good, is that Ivy Dry soap.
Yeah.
Because it's gritty.
Yep.
So
Yeah, you're kind of
I washed the heck out of myself with that.
Yeah.
But what I started doing, whenever I get it, when I get a little patch, I'll wash it with that Ivy Dry, just for one, because I just think it feels good.
Yep.
And then I take mineral spirits.
Yeah.
And wipe that on there, and it'll dry it up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Now, if you got a bunch of it, it's probably not a good idea. But if you got a little patch, that's what I do, and it clears it up pretty good. You know what I mean? Every time.
Yep.
But I've been to the doctor many, many times getting that steroid injection, and knowing that's the only thing that works for me. I've had it. I've gotten poison ivy since I was a little kid, and I remember I was probably 10 years old, 12, 11 years old. I literally remember walking into my mom and dad's room in the middle of the night crying because I was so swollen, so itchy. And my dad told me, he goes, "You look like a little monster walking in there. You were so swollen." They had to take me to the emergency
With the
room.
pus.
Oh yeah, dude, it was horrible. So I don't get it like I used to, but I'm scared to death of that stuff still. That's why I was showing you the broadside shirt and stuff, and the pants. I wear that, like we talk, squirrel hunting, mushroom hunting, because I got to wear long sleeves.
Yep.
And that stuff's so comfortable and breathable, you know what I mean? It just makes sense for me to wear that, and I try to keep my skin covered because I don't want that dang poison ivy, man.
No, definitely not.
So, sorry, we jumped way off track there.
Oh, it happens.
So you started seeing that buck in 22.
Yeah. Then fast forward to that day, I ended up and I ended up leaving work early, and just like I did the previous years, I'd get ready up a truck, get ready to run down, and I usually stop by one of the cedar trees and I'll just kind of brush my arm on them, while I'm there, because there's a lot of cedar trees there, so it's really quick, fast way to get some cover scent. And I go sneaking down over the hill, and I'm just lollygagging. I make it down to the bottom, and I start cutting across, and I got this spot picked out underneath the cedar tree where I can see 45 yards where he jumps the fence. And I can see that spot perfectly. Like I got probably a 20-yard opening, before he either comes this way, walks across the pond, or goes away from me. But either way, I'd be able to get him to stop because he's just walking. Like he's never running that area. So I'm making my way around this spot, and I just see a little head move, by the pond. So I stop and I'm looking, and one of the bucks I sent you a picture of, it was like a big 9 or big 10, like just a big old bodied buck. and he's just laying there bedded down, and my spot's here, and he's 35 yards from it here, and the spot I'm trying to watch is over here, and I'm stuck,
Right there.
right in the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, like wide out in the open.
Yeah.
And the absolute worst part about it was he was bedded down with a doe. There was a doe chilling out right there. Like the bucks, he probably wouldn't care much, but that doe, as well as any bow hunter, they pick up everything.
Everything, man. Them suckers.
So I instantly just drop. I drop down and I'm sitting there looking. I can see his horns moving back and forth, and I kind of peek up a little bit, and I can see her head's kind of moving around, like they're not alerted at all, which is good. So I actually dropped most of my gear right there. I mean, like I'm literally in the middle of the field, and I dropped most of my gear right there, and I backtrack around, and I go through different patches of woods to end up in the same spot. So I climb underneath this cedar tree, and I cut this little opening at it's got the little underbrush underneath it. So I keep a little pair of hand shears with me, and I'm just snipping around, passing the time. And then I take a couple little branches and I poke them down the ground. So I got a nice little blended in opening.
So you're basically inside the cedar tree.
Yep, and laying right on the ground, like the absolute worst spot you could be in the middle of summer heat.
Yeah.
With chiggers and seed tick,
yeah.
the worst spot you could be in pine needles.
Facts.
It's terrible.
Not a comfortable spot.
But it was worth it for the reward if I got it.
Yeah.
And
now are you sitting like up against a tree, or are you actually laying down?
No, I'm actually laying down.
You're laying
Yeah,
down.
I'm actually
Okay.
laying down the whole time.
Yeah.
There wasn't a whole lot of room. Probably about there's probably about that
Under
much.
the branches.
Yeah,
and
where I
whatnot.
was at. But by the time you come down with the apron, the
Might
apron
turn
wasn't
that
very
just
much.
a little bit.
This way?
No, the actual mic itself.
Oh, I got you. That way?
Nope, the other way.
The other way.
There you
There you
go. Kind of. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, but by the time you get down to the apron, the apron gives you a small little window. So you got to kind of reach out a little ways, to make sure you get, grass and little weeds out of the way, because you definitely don't want to risk hitting anything with a bow. Whether they do it or not, I've had enough happen with, with twigs where, I don't trust grass either. But so I'm chilling there, laying underneath this thing. I got myself blended in nice and perfect. I'm watching this side.
Can you still see the buck and the doe that are laying down?
No, I can't see him because where the tree I'm laying in, like there's a little wood line around the pond right here, and he's 35 yards in front of me, right here, hidden behind some trees. But if he comes out around, I could shoot him.
Gotcha.
Or if he walks this way, I could shoot him. Or if he goes across the pond, I could probably take that shot, but I probably wouldn't have. So I expected him to go one way or the other. Like I would have shot him, but I'm glad I didn't get the opportunity to shoot that one. But you fast forward and like we're sitting there chilling, and there's nothing. I mean, it's just dead. And 6:30 rolls around, like that's the time this deer usually comes out. About 6:15, 6:30, and there's nothing. And like it's starting to get a little bit later, and there's just nothing. So my hopes are gone. Like I'm just thinking I blew it.
Yeah.
Because the wind's wrong. But I've got enough cedar trees around me and blended enough in. And where I think I should be good. I usually don't get busted very often, which is surprising. Hunting on the ground.
Yeah.
But there's a little 8-point that comes out, and I had that buck bedded down, and I'm not sure if he's still there now. Like he could have went straight over the pond dam, and I would have never known.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if he's there, but a little one came out on this side of the pond, and he's looking right at me. I mean, just staring at me. I'm like, there's no way this thing sees me. So now I'm getting paranoid. Thinking like if this thing knows I'm here, then
Everything knows I'm
here. Yeah. Any mature buck is guaranteed to know. So he's sitting there walking around. He's doing his thing, but he's on high alert the whole time. I mean, his head's on a swivel, just constantly back and forth, down, up, down, up. And then he goes, and then he walks around to the backside of the pond dam, and you could tell he's getting a lot more nervous as he gets back, but he's still looking like straight at me. And he was getting ready to bolt, like you could tell, because he's starting to hunch down, and you could tell he's just getting ready to take off. And I'm like, and I wonder if there's something behind me. Because by now this deer is 100 yards away. Like there's no way he can
still
he can
looking
smell me.
right at you.
Yeah. I mean the whole time like I'm literally dropping these little branches out in front of me, like trying to close my gap even more. So like there's no way he can see me. I mean like I'm literally looking at him through tiny little openings. I'm like, man, like it has to be something like close by. about that time, you heard a branch break right behind me, and I'm like frozen underneath this tree looking this way, and that buck that I was chasing changed his course. And instead of coming this way, he came. I'm not sure where he come, but he come right past me, and where I was sitting, or where I was laying, he stopped right at the corner of the apron and just looked right at me. I mean, like he put his head. I'm like, our head was 3 to 5 feet away.
That's crazy.
I mean, like it was that close. Like if I'm here, he was like right
So
there.
you're probably like, I mean,
yeah,
this kind of distance.
yeah,
On the ground with him.
on the ground with him, and he's on probably just about that kind of an angle. I mean, maybe a little bit more aggressive, but
Yeah.
he's literally looking, and I can't do nothing. I mean, like I'm literally
Oh,
frozen
yeah.
underneath. Like I know he can't see me. Well, he probably could.
If
but,
you move, you're
but I ain't
screwed.
moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he eventually looks up at that deer again. It's still over there. Luckily, that deer was there, and
So the 8-point seen him coming. So
Mhm.
that's what he was
yeah,
looking
he was on high
at.
alert because
Yeah.
that thing must have been back behind me the whole time.
Yeah.
And lucky for me, that deer's still out there keeping his attention, because he eventually turned his head and started beelining towards him, and he made it probably 15 yards before he quartered, and he took a couple steps this way, and we just sent it. But man, I'm on the phone calling my buddies after this, like I'm ecstatic, like
Yeah.
I'm shaking, like I thought I made a good shot, because the way he jumped off and he took off running, and he stopped at the edge of the field, and then he walked in. So I thought I made a good shot, but I'm ecstatic, and I texted Leonard, tell him I got one. Calling a buddy, trying to pass some time, because it's a long wait sitting there by yourself. Like,
Yeah.
if you ain't got somebody to talk to, like you're trying to pass time,
Yeah,
You're
for
trying
sure.
to keep that time
and that
cruising.
excitement's just going crazy inside,
Oh, yeah.
and the adrenaline and all that. You
Yep.
know.
So I eventually get up and I walk over and I find a couple spots of blood, so I mark it real quick, and then I'm just gonna chill out for another 30 minutes. But as I'm walking by, I found my arrow, I found my bolt, I guess. But I reached down and grabbed my bolt, and my bolt's probably yay long, but there's only blood on this much of it. So now I'm sick to my stomach. Like
Yeah.
I think I just hit like under the skin somewhere, and it just went underneath the skin and then just cut off, because like the rest of the arrows, I mean, like it's
Clean.
it's spotless. Like there's nothing, no hair, no blood, no fat, no nothing. So
That's devastating when you
I'm
see
disgusted.
that.
I'm sick
Yeah.
to my stomach. And then I got, buddy called me, asked me, did you go look for her? Like, no. And and you're looking at that, you're looking at your signs, and it has all the signs of a complete waste, like you just ruined it.
Something happened.
But yeah, eventually, Leonard came down, and he kept texting me, asking me when to go look, but I didn't want to go look, like I was going to wait till the next day, because it just wasn't right, like it just didn't look right. But yeah, he ended up coming down, and I held him off for about 40 minutes, and then he waited there by the mule as I walked up in the woods, and I didn't even make it 40 yards, and there he was laying.
Crazy.
Oh man, I was
ecstatic
I was
again.
tickled. Yeah, right back to square one.
Isn't that what's crazy, dude? About, I mean, I think it's all hunting, whether it's rifle, whatever, but something about just like that scenario. I mean, being that freaking close, dude, is such a
Yeah.
rush, man.
Yeah.
And then my oldest son, Brandon, he talked about it a lot this season, where he said, dude, I never realized bow hunting was such a roller
It's
coaster.
exhilarating.
You get this extreme high, like you just smoke this buck, and then you grab your arrow and there's this much, 5-6 inches
Yeah.
of blood on it, and you're like, what happened, man? What did I do? What happened? Oh my goodness. And then you find so now you're at the lows, and then you find the buck 40 yards, and then you're back up at the extreme high.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's emotional roller coaster, man.
Yeah, and the good thing about bow hunting, like there's still people that do it gun hunting, but it's not the same as sitting out and bow hunting early season. Watching the little ones, chase each other around the field. Running around the woods. Like you get to see mom hanging out there, and the little ones are just chasing each other around. Or
Kicking each other. And...
it's you just don't see all that when you gun hunt. Like you gun hunt and it just seemed like you got some deer out, but it's just not the same
Yeah.
feeling as when you're chilling there with a bow.
Yeah.
Like the time we was talking about the Grim Reaper broadheads. The reason I switched out to those, and this here's another good little story. That same place I was hunting, the year before I was actually hunting. So instead of hunting this spot, I was hunting on the backside of the pond dam, but I was actually dropped in a ditch. So the field comes down and there's like a little drop off where the pond runoff goes through. Just a little cutout. It's only about 3 foot tall, but there was a big scrape in the corner of the field. So I'm set up right there, and I'm watching this scrape line, and the deer like to come out of that corner. So it was a good spot to chill, a good spot to watch. And there was a big one came out, and he was probably pushing 150. He was a beautiful deer. And I'm just sitting there, I got my head sticking out of a little hole, and I pull up and I take a shot, and I watch my arrow, and it just goes, just launches straight down, and I didn't know what to think. Like you practice and you watch your stuff being just fine with field points, but I watched that broadhead, go just nosedive, straight off to the right and just straight nosedive. So that deer, he just looked up, and he was looking right in my direction, but he didn't know what happened, and he walks right to me, and I'm laying in this hole, and he's probably 7-8 feet away, but he just walks right on past me, just follows the trail right on by. But I go back and I go target practice the next day, trying to figure out what's going on, and my field points just
money,
just every time, and I throw one of them broadheads on and just launches.
And what broadhead was that?
I knew you were going to ask as soon as I started this one.
It wasn't a Grim Reaper. We know that.
No, definitely wasn't one of those. I don't remember because that was, I believe that was probably 22 when that happened. But I ended up talking to a buddy because I never heard of that. I never knew broadheads could spin off. Like when you get them little blazer fletchings, that's a lot of spin.
Yeah.
And anymore, that's all I practice with. I don't practice with field points anymore. And the bad thing is, like, if you take time and you dial in your bow for field points and you
then you're starting over sometimes.
Yeah. You're completely starting over, or else you're just chucking in trash and then you're getting another pack. But yeah, that's why I was talking to a buddy, and that's what he used. He goes, "It's hands down the most accurate
Grim Reapers."
Yeah, I went down and got some, and I mean, I've yet to have one. I mean, like, I ain't sponsored by them. Like, I haven't.
Yeah, me neither.
But
they should sponsor me because I love their stuff.
I'm telling you what, holes every single time,
dude. When we were talking, I was like,
straight in the field points.
I can be up in the tree, shoot a deer with that Grim Reaper, and I can see the blood trail. You know what I mean?
It's nasty.
I'm like, that is incredible to me, dude.
Oh, it's nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was and I mean, they've all been pass throughs. Every single one of them. I mean, like, and you can see the hole on one side, and you can go right, you can flip it over, and it's got the same looking hole on the other. They're devastating.
Yeah, the last deer I shot in this last season, I took picture of the entrance hole itself. It was just incredible. I'm like, that is insane to me. And the exit hole was like, you could almost put your fist through it. You know what I mean? I'm like, blood just everywhere. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. I love that, dude.
Yeah. One of the ones that I shot, because I got drew for a longview tag this year, so I was able to hunt that managed hunt. But one of the ones that I shot down there, it actually didn't have a blood trail. I mean, and so I shot that one, and I bet I was 5 yards away from that one when I shot it, and then. I'm sitting there talking to a buddy on the phone. I got nothing to do. I just shot a deer, so I'm not expecting to see anything anytime soon. So I called a buddy. I'm like, "Hey, dude, I told you should have went hunting today." That was that first dusting of the year, and I'll be danged if I'm not hunting on a snow day.
That's right.
It's amazing.
That's right. That's my favorite time.
Oh yeah. That was one of the best part about Ohio was we had quite a bit of snow.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there was definitely a lot more snow here back then versus now.
Yeah.
But so I was like, well, like, I'm gonna hang out for I'm gonna chase this thing now. Like, I knew I smoked it, But so I started walking around like I'm following his tracks, and I'm like, there's nothing. So I'm like, well, I don't know how I'm gonna track this thing. Like there's so much underbrush over there when you get picked from a mansion hunt, like it's just bad.
Yeah.
But so I make it probably, I don't know, 25 or 30 yards, and a little one walks right to me, and all they had was 2 arrows with me, and one of them didn't have no fletchings, but this deer was probably no further away than the other one. Like, I mean, it was literally from here to the end of here at the end of the basement.
Yeah.
So I just popped that one, and it takes off running like, and I could hear that one rolling down the hill. So I knew it's just done. So while I was actually walking down to get that
Wait a minute. So you go out, you got 2 arrows. One of them
I had
ain't even
3.
got, yeah, 3.
Yeah, 3. Yeah.
Okay, so you shot 1.
Yep. Had 1.
So now you got 2.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
and one of them ain't even got fletchings.
No. No.
That's crazy to me. I'm like, what?
and I only kept that one in case I shot something and I had to have something to put something down. Like I've been there before where I didn't have nothing and I'm stuck there with a knife and I'm like, man, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Like I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one there,
That's
it was
crazy.
yeah, it flew. You're right on the money, but
Yeah.
but it ran. I know that one there probably wouldn't have went as far if it wasn't all downhill. That was a pretty big gully that I was hunting, and of course had to drag it all the way back up it. But while I was going down to get that one, I walked right past the other one, and it's just laying there. And if you look all around it, there is no blood anywhere on the snow, but this big doe is just laying there, and you can see this big hole on this side, and you flip it over, and you got a big hole on the other side, which. That's the first time I've ever had one of those that didn't produce blood.
Yeah.
But it still only ran 50 yards.
Yeah.
But if you didn't know where it was going,
You wasn't gonna find it.
you ain't gonna find it. Yeah, it
You just happened to find
yeah,
it.
I'd have to be walking a trail, to go to chase the other one,
Yeah.
and got that one.
Yeah. Yeah. I love some Grim Reapers, man. I think I told you, and I mentioned it on another podcast where I shot like 5 different broadheads this season.
Mhm.
I've been shooting Grim Reapers for years, but I just had a hanker and I was like, man, I'm gonna try something different, And by the end of the season, I said, nope, I'm a Grim Reaper guy, man. I love them. I shoot the carnivores, I shoot the whitetail specials. I actually have some hybrids. I haven't shot nothing with it yet, but they look pretty good, and even their fixed blades look super good to me. I haven't shot one, but I've thought about excuse me. I've thought about getting some just to try it,
Yep.
But then, like after this season, I'm like, why am I trying any other broadheads? I know
you
what
got
works,
I mean, it's almost like going to a restaurant and getting something different. Like,
And
if
you always go, I should have got
then
what
if it's
I-"
wrong, you're just going to be irritated the
Yeah.
entire time you're eating it because you're not happy.
Yep. People say, well, why do you eat the same thing at that place? Well, because I know
'Cause
it's
it works.
fire. You know
It
what I'm
works every
saying?
single
Yeah,
time.
Exactly. Yeah, dude, that's incredible, man. Like I said, I think you're the second or third person I've talked to that I know the last one. He does pretty much all ground hunting,
Yep.
and he is started getting into saddle hunting, but a lot of his hunts on the ground, and I'm just fascinated with it. And I think this next season I want to try to get on the ground, like you were talking about being under the cedars. One of the spots I hunt, there's all kinds of cedars out there, and I'm just picturing. I'm like, dude, I could totally do that
There's so
exact
much free
same
cover
thing.
scent.
And I know one of those spots is those deer because I always watch them. They'll travel right by there, and so that may be a good idea, man. I may have
Well,
to
if
try
you're sitting up
that.
in an oak tree, you're not going to have this. You're not going to have scent protection like you would in a cedar tree.
Yeah,
I'm not saying like you're still not going to get busted. You definitely still got to do. You still definitely got to pull your own strings to be able
Yeah.
to make it happen. But you definitely got a lot more free cover scent right
Yeah,
there. I mean,
for
those things are
sure.
pretty powerful smelling.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when the wind blows and you're a ways away, you can
smell it. Yeah,
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can smell cedars for sure. I
an
smell them all the
acorn,
time.
not so much.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
You better have a scent blender if you're going to use acorns.
Yeah, that ain't kidding. I've actually thought about getting one of those. Before.
I've been that close to getting one, and every time I want to get one, it's the middle of season. So I'm like, I'll wait till next season, then I'll get one.
and then you don't.
And
do
then
it.
I'm in the same boat again
Yeah,
every
yeah.
single time.
I've heard good and bad about it. I've heard, they're the greatest things since sliced bread, and I've heard they're junk. They clog up super easy.
I would imagine anytime you're blending anything up, they're going to clog.
Yeah.
And especially depending on how fine the particles are going to be. Like some green pine needles, you wouldn't have to blend up near as much to be able to get a pretty powerful
Well, couldn't
smell.
couldn't you take like just an old kitchen blender and basically do the same thing and
Yeah,
make
yeah.
your own like
If you don't get
that?
strangled.
Yeah, true. That's why I say an old one. Don't use it.
Yeah.
I say my wife
you
just
end up
bought a
getting-
new one. I'm like, I could use the old one. I better not use that new one.
You
Throw
end up
some
getting-
acorns in there.
You end up getting strangled with a. You end up getting strangled over a cedar tree flavored margarita.
Yeah. Oh, that would be great. You're right. She would strangle me for sure, dude.
No, there's not enough salt to power that one.
That's hilarious. So you smoked that buck. And he was beautiful. Did you tell me you had him scored?
Yeah. You actually took him right down the road here. What's that wildlife place?
Right down
they got
here.
their Parma
Parma
Woods,
Woods.
the shooting range.
Yeah, the
Yeah, there's a guy-
conservation place.
Yeah, there's a guy named Nathan up there who's certified to score them. Yeah, and he scored it. That one there, after deductions and differences, it went 151.
Nice.
It was 173 with everything. But, yeah, it's just beautiful deer.
Yeah.
You got plenty of width, plenty of heights. You got burr points. You got common points. He had a lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah, he is gorgeous. You sent me the pictures. That video you sent me.
Oh, yeah, that was one from that was my gun season this year. He's just sitting out.
Dude, that's so funny because before you start the video,
yeah, it looks like somebody holding a mount out there.
100%. Because I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
And then I hit play, and it's just like I'm like, "That is so crazy." He just stand there
Yeah.
looking like, and that's exactly what I thought. Somebody took a mount and just stuck it in
Yep.
front of the camera. You know?
yeah. When I shot that buck, I snuck up on that one.
What year did you shoot that one?
That was this year.
This year.
Yeah, I was. We went out, and that was the last day of. That was the last day we was hunting.
I'm gonna
gun
put
season.
that video right at the end of this podcast.
Yeah,
'cause
that one
it's-
was pretty cool.
Y'all got to see it. It's so good.
Yeah, that
man.
one was pretty cool. Yeah, we was hunting down there, and I was hunting the edge of the field till it got daylight out. I figured I'd watch the field, and then if I didn't see nothing out in the field, because usually some of these spots where I hunt, like the field's only active for a real small amount of time, and after that you may get a straggler, but for the most part they're gonna be hiding in the woods. But yeah, I was sitting there watching the field, and I seen some out there playing, and it was still dark enough where you could just starting to see them. I could see them running around, so I was hoping that they'd hang out, long after light hit. But as it was starting to get more daylight, you was watching them getting closer to the path, where they're going to disappear in the woods, and I knew they were going to because they were going right to it. And sure as crap, like it gets daylight, and they peel off up in the woods. So I wait out in the field for probably another, for a little while. I mean, it's daylight enough now in the woods where I can see, and that's what I was ultimately waiting on, because I don't like sneaking around without being able to see, and it was foggy that day, so it took a little bit longer to finally be able to see anything in the woods, and the ground was nice and dewy, so I got stealth all day long.
Yeah.
So when I finally decided to go up in the woods, like that path that they walked up goes up and around where I was sitting. So I was going to go up the hill this way, and that path comes around here, and they're either going to go down this path or go straight up and over. And of course they be coming, right across in front of me. But I start sneaking up, and I'm waiting. Every car that drives by, I walk a little bit further. So I'm trying not to make any noise, but I'm trying to allow the cars to help mask anything that I got. And I make it maybe 50 yards in the woods, and they start blowing at me. Then they run up over top of the hill. But I stopped, and I could see their outline. They were quite a ways away, but they were just sitting there. And then they go back to being normal again. So I start sneaking up, and I make it up this path, and I thought those were just gone. Like I had no idea they could be right out in front of me. But man, I popped out. I popped on top of this hill, and I see one head pop up, and then I see a rat come up, and then another head. And I mean, I'm only 35 yards away from them, like standing in the middle of a path, and they're staring right at me. But he's like right on this doe, and she moves, and his attention's gone. And that's exactly what happened. Like as soon as she turned her head and moved, his head was gone, and he walked behind a tree, and made probably one step and walked behind a tree, and I just pulled the gun up, and that was the end of that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's it's pretty fun hunting from the ground. I mean,
Yeah.
it's different.
Yeah.
It's real different.
I can imagine, like I said, I mean, some of these guys, you know, they up in a tree, they look like monsters coming in.
Yeah.
It's like that one there, he was like, I had several bucks around me that morning. This is January. I shot him, I think 4 years ago, and it was January, snow on the ground, and that's why I went and hunted. I was like, I still had a buck tag, and I was like, it's snowing, I'm going, you know.
Yep.
So went and got in the tree. That morning, probably, I bet I had 7 to 8 bucks come in, which was wild to me. You know what I mean? They
You
were
get one of them
everywhere.
days, and they're just
Yeah.
and they're on a beeline,
Yeah.
just back to back to
There
back.
was so many. It was like I didn't feel comfortable drawing my bow or even grabbing my bow because I thought one of them gonna bust me.
Yeah.
So my thinking was I'm gonna let them go. So the next thing you know, they all start walking off, and then I'm questioning myself: did I screw up, man? I could have probably pulled up on one of them anyway. But I'm like, oh well, too late. They're gone now. I was hoping that they'd come back around. Well, about 30, 40 minutes later, I hear something on this side of the tree, and so I look, and I see him, and I'm like, "Holy crap, dude!" And so I thought he's a big one. I think I'm gonna smoke that one, and so I did. But that's one of the things I love about saddle hunting. I kept that tree in between me and him
Yeah.
the whole time.
Oh yeah.
As
Yeah, they
he
don't have a
come
clue.
in, I just worked my way around this way of the tree, drew back,
Yep.
and then when I knew he was gonna step out, I smoked him. You know.
Yeah.
And
It's so easy to get skylined
Yeah, dude.
from,
And that's
from
why
just a basic tree stand.
I tell people, you know, about the broadside. So here's the deal: if most people, if you're in a blind, you wear black because you want to blend,
Yeah.
blend in with your background. So I'm like, when we talk about my camo patterns, I'm like, well, don't you want to blend in with your background, just like you would in a blind? That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
I want to have that big patches of white and stuff and sky because the whole point of it is you got to break up your outline.
Mhm.
I don't care what camo it is. You can
Yeah.
wear any pattern in the world you want. You could go out like that. I could go like this.
Yep.
We can kill deer. But if you're up in a tree, you got to break up that outline because that's what they're looking for. Eyes, because when they see a predator, that's the first thing they see is their eyes. So in my mind, you got to, your eyes give you away and your outline.
every time one of them deer comes in and it's like looking up, I'm like, my clothes, I'm squinting my eyes. I'm like,
Dude,
I'm looking the other direction, like Mel, I wonder if he can feel me looking at him. So I'm literally considering looking this way, and he's down here, and I'm kind of like, looking down.
I do the exact same thing. I talk about it all the time. I'll be like, I've told all my kids, hey, if they look at you, just close your eyes. And I barely open them, you know what I mean, to where I could see them.
About the time to get
But
back to
most
normal.
of the
then I'll
time, they
start-
go back right to normal and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
in my head, it works. So
Yeah. I always feel like I always know when somebody's staring at me. Or I always feel like it. So I'm like, maybe they feel the same way. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah.
but it's always like weird because like they're looking and I'm looking. I'm like, we're gonna squint on this one. I don't need this doe or fawn to blow to start blowing all over the woods.
Yeah.
And just ruin my hunt.
yeah, it's. I think them does they sense you. You know what I mean?
Especially
I
if they
had
got
this
fawns.
a couple years ago. I had this doe that would come in, and it was crazy because the wind would be down. I'd be downwind of her, so she ain't smelling me. I know, and she's not looking anywhere at me, so she ain't seeing me. She's just walking through the woods blowing.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? What are you blowing at? And she would jump and blow and blow,
Yeah.
jump and blow, and I'm like,
Cause you're just playing.
what are you doing, man? And I'm like, if you give me a shot, I'm smoking you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But another thing I wanted to get into, you said you do some competition shooting or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. I
Tell
do
me a
lot
little
of,
bit about that.
Yeah, I
That's
do a lot
kind
of
cool.
I do a lot of PRS and NRL 22. Actually, this weekend we have
Now, what is the PRS? And
that's a precision rifle series. So the version that I do, they have a center fire and then they have a rimfire and air gun version. I do the rimfire and air gun version. So it's we're shooting targets for the most part. I would imagine probably 80% of the targets are probably 80 to 120 or 80 to 150 yards, which is probably pretty much about where all the targets are. But we do have targets that where they'll throw something in at 35 yards, and we have targets to go out to 300 yards, which I think PRS just changed the rules. So I think it's actually, I think they brought the distance in now. just because of the random flyers with 22s make it a lot harder to hit targets consistently
Yeah.
at that distance, because a 22 or 300 yards is the equivalent of a 308 at like 1,200 yards, as far as bullet drop and windage is calculated in. But it's quiet, like when you're doing those type of sports, you're shooting off of rocks, you're shooting off of trees, you're shooting prone. I've shot off pontoons. Like it's like anything you would see on a farm or out in the woods, or like all the places you normally go hunting. Like if you see something out, you just randomly take a shot at it.
Yeah.
And that's what's nice about this, is it teaches you how to shoot, off of that kind of stuff. Obviously the guns we're using are, not practical. Like they do have a base class, which would be more practical, but some of our open guns are running 20, 25 pounds. So lugging one of them things around is probably never going to happen to the normal hunter. But a base model Tiki or CZ all day long.
Yeah.
It's a blast. I get a kick out of it. I got a couple sponsors. There's a lot of really good companies here local that do a lot of stuff for the sports. And there's a lot of competition around here too.
No
Kansas
kidding.
Kansas City is one of the ones where you have a lot of stuff. You have a lot of different matches, within a decent little radius. You got them up north, south. So you can kind of get into a lot of different types of sports. They also have the bench rest, but the ones that I really like are the hunter matches, and they have a team. You can shoot them as a team or an individual. And if you shoot in the team, then you'd have a partner. So like if me and you went, when they say go, we have 6 minutes to run up, drop our gear, or do whatever our gear, like we want to get it set up or whatever. But you have 6 minutes to run up to the spot where they tell you to go, and then you have to find however many targets that they've hidden in the woods. So they'll hide, most of the time with hunter matches, they're going to hide animal silhouettes. So you're going to have, little bobcats or they might put Sasquatches out there and bears and all kinds of stuff. And they just hide them randomly through the woods.
So you have no idea where
You have no
at.
idea.
You got to
Yep.
find them.
Yep.
How many are there usually on a 6 minute set?
Usually it depends on the distances and what kind of stage they're setting up. But a lot of times it's usually about 4 that they'll set up. And if you're out, out in the field, they can really go, pretty far out in distance and spread. So you really have to look. But in the woods, like, it sounds easier, but those little targets disappear pretty quick.
Yeah, for sure.
And what they do is they set up a pole here, and they have 2 other poles out front. And from this spot, from an arm's reach of this pole, looking between either one of those poles, you can find a target.
Find the target.
But I mean, you may have to look up high, you may have to squat down low, you may have to go prone, you may have to wiggle back and forth. So they hide the stuff pretty good. I mean, it's challenging, but it's a blast.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm doing this one as an individual. I usually do team, but I always want to do one as an individual. So it cuts my time to 4 minutes, and then I get to lug all the gear around by myself. So I don't mind lugging gear. I'm usually taking everything anyways. But with the hunter matches, whatever you leave the car with, you have to have the entire match. You can't.
Oh, okay.
You can't set down, like, it's basically like in your woods. Where if I was hunting somewhere and I got tired of carrying something, I'm just chucking it. But in this
scenario,
no, you can't do that. Yeah,
you're carrying it.
Yeah.
So it matters what you bring in what you take out of the vehicle.
Yeah,
yeah,
it really does. And you're really not supposed to go back and get something. Like if something happens to your gun or something, like you're really not supposed to.
You better have a repair kit right there with you,
and I keep all that stuff with me. But yeah, it's they're a blast.
Yeah, it sounds like it. You do air rifles too.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Yeah, that's kind of cool.
I shoot FX Panthera air rifles, as well as custom CZ 457s in the 22s. But the air rifles, that's a whole different animal. The advancements that they've came out with, my God, dude, they're accurate.
Yeah.
And you got high BCs. If you do your part and you maintain them right, and you do the little, like you do the maintenance, the piddly stuff that you have to learn, to get your regulator firing right, and everything doing right. I mean, you can shoot you can have extremely small spreads. I mean, tiny. I'm like, whereas a rimfire, like a good SD might be 7 or 8. You know, like with an air gun, you could drop an SD down to 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had my best string was last summer, and I did 100 shots, and I had a 12 feet per second spread between 100 shots,
Dang.
which is ungodly.
Yeah,
I mean, like
that's
I could
incredible.
take, yeah, I mean, I could take a box of high end 22 ammo, you know, and I could shoot 5, and I could have that spread.
Yeah.
So you can really, I mean, it can definitely be more accurate, but it also has a whole different set of challenges that rimfire don't have.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely something probably everybody should get into.
Yeah.
Really.
I think I told you about that. I just had a wild hair one day and
Yeah,
was
the
like,
Benjamin.
Yeah. And I was at Academy Sports and I was like, I walked up and I'm seeing these air guns and I'm like, man, this would be killer, dude.
Yeah, I actually brought mine. It's actually in my truck.
Did
I
you?
forgot to show
Yeah,
you.
I had to
Yeah.
check it out. So I was standing there in the aisle and I'm just looking up stuff like what's a good air rifle, you know, for squirrel hunting, for whatever. And it come up, and one of the ones that came up was a Benjamin. It
Yep.
was supposed to be very, you know, pretty good for the price and all that. So it was cheap enough. So I was like, well, screw it, I'm gonna get one. So I bought one, and I'll come out here with my grandkids or whatever out on the deck, and we'll shoot little targets out here, you know. And I actually shot a squirrel. I was like, I wonder if this sucker would definitely kill
Oh,
a
yeah.
squirrel. And there was a squirrel up in the tree. He was probably 40 yards or whatever. And I popped him and down. I was like, man, this thing is killer, you know. The only thing I don't like about that one particularly is it's
The
a little
stock.
on the heavy side.
Yeah.
But I know they got much better ones, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to check into that.
Yeah, the thing that you run into with the air guns is you usually have a lot of metal components in them, just because you know, especially with PCP, just because of the the high pressures they
Yeah.
got. So you got a little bit more than what you could do with a pencil barrel on a 22.
Yeah.
You know, with a light stock, like you could pick up a Christensen Ranger, crazy light. You know, like
Yeah.
carbon fiber stock. You know, tiny little barrel, carbon fiber barrel, and you know, you could be in that, you know, a few pounds versus the average PC, you know, pre-charged pneumatic air guns probably 5, 6, 7
Yeah.
pounds.
Yeah.
Now you get into the bull pups, you can get them down pretty low, but they're very awkward. I mean, like there's a lot of people that hunt with them. I don't like bull pups at all.
Yeah.
I just stay away from 'em. Like I like a rifle feel. You're a whole lot easier to balance. You drop it on something, you can find a pivot spot. You can find, you know, balance point. With a bullpup, it's just, you know,
Yeah.
partly in your shoulder. You're doing all the steering and all the controlling. You know, you
Yeah.
are like you can't, you know, unless you're shooting off a tripod.
Yeah.
Then you could chuck it in and be all right.
I've got a couple spots. They're urban spots,
Mhm.
and that I bow hunt. And I'm like, you know how it is too. Whenever you're deer hunting, the squirrel, there'll be a million squirrels all over you. Well, I got a couple spots where there's just these fat red ones are out there, you know. And I'm
Mhm.
always like, man, I'd love to come out here squirrel hunting. So I was like, man, I could take my air rifle out there
Yeah.
and do it, you know. Well, when you were talking about the bullpup and whatever, one thing I like is that longer barrel you can put up against the tree, you know what I mean, and kind of help balance it or whatever,
Yep.
support it, you know. With that bullpup, I don't know if you can do that as well. So
No, you can't. Because even if you make them compact, like they're just so small.
Yeah.
You know, unless it's like a, you know, like a Cuban G1 or a Western Mordax, where you know, where it's basically just like a little pistol with a little stock on
yeah,
it. Now, the one thing with the air guns is you could put a moderator on them, and they're crazy quiet. I mean, especially if you're shooting lighter grain projectiles, you know, at a decent speed, you can tame down the noise a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, like you can make them really quiet. Like, you know, like the guns I shoot, there's not a whole lot you can do because I'm running 40 grain slugs at, you know, 980 feet per second, 960 feet per second. So I'm pushing a lot of air, so there's just not a whole lot you can tame them
Yeah.
with. And even then, I wouldn't put one on my competition gun just because it's just more stuff I got to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, as far as coming loose or getting dirty, or you know, and it makes it longer. But yeah, for a little squirrel gun,
yeah.
oh dude, man, you can make
Man,
it, and
and
it's
I-
so loud. not to interrupt you, but like whenever you put a moderator on one of them and you smack a squirrel, the report is like, thunk.
Yeah.
Like by the time it comes back, just a headshot.
Yeah.
Like it's just loud from 30 yards away. Like it comes back and it's like, oh damn,
Dude, I nailed
nasty.
him.
I was like, that's nasty. Yeah.
Well, that was one thing when I was looking up info on them and stuff. I'm like, dude, there's some of them are so dang fast. I mean, they're shooting fast.
Yeah.
And then the quietness of them when you shoot them, compared to a rifle or whatever, obviously it's different. But I was just like, man, this thing is so quiet. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. The biggest thing with those, if you want to keep them quiet, is like especially if you're gonna be hunting, like you want to stay light but a little bit fast. Like lighters, like little 20, 18 grain pellets are amazing. 18 grain slugs. Like with the slugs, like the lighter slugs are usually trickier to tune if you have a tunable gun, but I don't think the Benjamin's tunable. I think it's
think so, yeah.
I think just set and forget it.
Yep.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a super reliable gun.
Yeah.
I mean, the same. But if you want one tunable, the Avenger would probably be the one you could play around with. As far as that goes, you can do some stuff to them.
Yeah.
There's not as much you can do with the Benjamin lineup, but both of them are extremely reliable for doing anything.
Yeah.
Playing around.
Well, I was just impressed with the accuracy of it. And
Oh,
whatnot.
God.
I was like, man, this is actually a great shooting
Yeah.
of a rifle. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
One if you dip into the Springer rifles, you hear the story of them knocking scopes off and just being inaccurate, but a lot of times it's all in how you first set it up. Like those guns, like when you shoot them, like they like to be held the same way that you zero it. Like if you're putting a bag underneath the front, like that's where you want to put your hand. Like for some reason, when I started shooting them the exact same way that I was zeroing them, the point of impact changes disappeared. Like like people always say, you knock the scope off. I don't know. I think it's just a recoil. It just changes the harmonics on them so bad. And harmonics is a big deal when it comes to shooting anything.
yeah.
But those little pre-charged pneumatics, you get the best of that little Crossman CO2 cartridge you had when you were a kid versus a Daisy.
Yeah.
I mean, like you get all the accuracy, but a lot more shots.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a YouTube channel for your competition shooting and stuff.
Yeah.
What is that?
Competitive air gunning is the name of that channel.
Competitive air gunning.
Mm-hmm. And I post a lot of how-to videos on different setups. I've posted full match videos. Where I went through and just did the whole match. Showed you what I was shooting at. Had a camera behind me watching me, then had a scope cam on where everybody could see what I was shooting at and how I was doing it. Because when you're shooting those, like you're not just shooting a target at a certain distance. Like every now and again they'll put out a gimme, but it's usually not really a gimme because it's there's usually something that makes it harder.
Yeah.
If it's just a single target. But a lot of times like we'll have a minute 45 or 2 minutes for a stage, and we might shoot 6 targets. You might go from 50, 90, 150, 80, like you're ping ponging around. And with those low caliber rifles, like you have a lot of data drop. You have a lot of elevation changes. So it comes into, a lot of parallax and a lot of turret turning.
Yeah.
And you'll see some people do holdovers, but I mainly turret turn because I usually try and shave as much time as I can so I can dial, so I can be a little more accurate. Like I don't have to worry about forgetting where I'm supposed to be because I've already turned the turret to it.
Yeah.
But I've got quite a few videos on there. I don't make near as many as I should, but
Still cool to do though.
yeah, it's fun. I met a lot of really cool people.
If somebody wants to check into the competition and shooting and stuff, how do they find that? Where do
we shoot the NRL 22, so we have some pages online.
like Facebook or
The NRL has a Facebook channel on there. You can also go to their website, and it'll show all the matches. There's some places that post local matches. I can't remember the names of all of them, but I know there's Ozark down in Springfield. There's West Missouri Plinkers, which is down in Garden City, Missouri. There was one in Ottawa, which was a really good range, but it's since been shut down. They're doing some renovations over there, so hopefully that comes up here pretty soon. You get that place is really good. You want to get into PRS side. The PRS side is a little more advanced than the NRL. NRL gives you 5 stages across the country, and those 5 stages have to remain the same at every match, and that's how they do their points. But you can also have bonus stages, which everybody does. But the PRS it's all match director discretion, so he can be as crazy as thought out as he wants. And and like this dude here who runs Vapor Trail, he can get pretty creative.
Yeah.
And I think it's a Spickard, Missouri, where his match is, and he does a lot of bench rest, 600 and 1,000 yard shoots up there. I mean, dude's a stud.
Yeah.
But then you have Gadsden, that dude's really good. You have match out in Kingsville, which is GA Precision's match. You have Eagleville that Charles Myers takes care of. He does a really good job up there. Kirk Burkhead is the one that puts on 100 matches locally, and that's up just north of Bethany. So there's a ton of matches up there. We also shoot a most series. So you have the PRS series, which counts as points, and then our local area, I believe it's Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, and Arkansas also puts on a most series, which is another set of points. And there's a most Rimfire that you can look up on Facebook that gives all those dates as well. And even on a PRS, if you go to the Rimfire, and then type in Midwest, you'll see every date for every match, and it'll also show you the most matches too, because those points will count as well.
Got you. Well, man, thanks for all that information. Yep. Definitely, I want to check into that stuff.
I'd love to see. There's so many good people, many good people out there, and I'm more than happy to tell anybody how to do anything or have them. I mean, hell, a lot of us got loaner gear. We got loaner rifles.
Try it before you buy it.
Yeah, and you'll see a lot of people like, oh man, I can't go. I got to practice. I'm like, listen, I was like, there's people who are colorblind. There's people who have bad backs, their bad knees, bad hips. Like, like we're all just having fun. Like whether whether or not you can hit every target, whether or not you miss every target. Like, man, nobody looks on anybody. Like it's not like some competition, where you go there and people make you feel bad when you leave. Like. I'm like, if it was like that, I wouldn't have been over near.
Yeah.
Like I've done some sports like that, and I've got no desire.
Yeah.
But these people do. They really are a different breed.
Yeah.
Man, they'd give you any piece of gear they had, so you can run it, use it, play with it, and check it out before you buy it. And definitely, if anybody wants to get in, they can just look me up or give me a holler.
He's
and I'll be
the
more
guy.
happy. Yeah. Yeah, and I can get them in touch with about anybody.
I think a lot of that stuff comes down to just people get kind of intimidated or whatever.
They do.
I get that way.
Nobody wants to go somewhere and
shot
just
3D
not
tournament.
do good.
I'm super interested in that, but I'm always like, there's an elevated archery right over here that's they have a 3D shoot and stuff, and I'm always like, I should go do it. I've even been invited, and I'm always like, yeah, I should go do that. And then when it comes down to it, I kind of get intimidated, and I don't know why. I mean, I'm a good shot or whatever. I can hold my own,
Yeah.
I may not be an expert, but I'll definitely hold my own. But I just, whatever reason, I was like, maybe next year I'll do it. Next year or whatever.
Well, the cool thing about this is a lot of them places, your first match is free. So it's like $25 for most of them. Some matches pay out. Some matches pay out at the end. They give you money back to the winners or whatever. But a lot of times the first match is free just to get people to come hang out.
Yeah.
And
check it out and realize they actually enjoy it, like it.
Yeah. I mean, like all of us, like it don't. It don't matter how good we are. Like I'm not gonna say I'm pretty good. Like I'm pretty decent. But there's definitely like even the best people have bad days.
Yeah.
And even like it comes down to gear too. Like, man, like our gear fails. You know, like you can have the most expensive rifle, the most expensive ammo, and it'll fail. Like it'll fail in the middle of a match, and you're stuck there trying to fix your gun. Like you just lost 10 points on the stage because because your extractor broke, or because your mag jammed, or you just got frustrated and the wind was just doing this. Every time you squeeze the trigger, it was just going a different direction. And I mean, once you're in your
Isn't
head,
that
you're done.
frustrating though?
Oh, it
It's
is.
just like, golly, man.
Yeah.
What is happening right now?
Yeah,
dude?
yeah. I mean, you'll watch it every now and again where where somebody's doing great and I mean, like they're winning, and they get down to the very last stage and something happens and it's just over. It's like, man, like I guess I'd rather have it happen at the end than at the beginning.
Yeah. Man, I'll do that with my bow. I'll be out here. I'll shoot today and be like, I'm smoking everything. I mean, everywhere. I can look at a spot. If I want the arrow to go there, it's going. Tomorrow I get out there and I'll be like totally off everything.
Yep.
I'm like, what is happening? But just one little tweak or something,
Man, there was that place I was talking about up in Warsaw with the, where I got hammered down with the chiggers and seed ticks and the poison ivy. I can't remember. It was one of them first few years that I was hunting. One of the tree stands I was hunting in, there was a massive 4-point. I mean, like, dude, like the times on this thing was huge. I mean, like he was just big, and he came in at the exact same time every time, and I mean, he was just so cool to watch. Like I just never shot him. Like I didn't quite realize like he was. Sought after. Like I didn't realize that would be like a sought after deer.
Yeah.
Like but he was cool. Like I look back on now, like man, I wish I would have like took a shot when I had an opportunity then.
Yeah.
But man, I was coming out of the tree stand one day, and I just seen his antlers sticking up out of the weeds, and he's bedded down in the middle of this field. So I dropped down, I snuck over, and man, I'm probably 50 yards away. Like I can make this shot. It's no big deal. So I pull back and shoot, or not to back. That was the second time. Hold on. So we'll back up to the first one. The first time I shot, he was about 30 yards away. And when I shot, there was a twig that I didn't see. It was like a little tree out in front of me, and I didn't see. Like it was like one of the only tiny little trees within a 20-yard radius. And I went.
But you found it.
I nicked it. My arrow just gone. So he stands up and he's just looking around, and I'm just like frozen like a like a lump on a log. Yeah. And I dropped back down. I snuck back, and I went back to my tree stand because I left my quiver up there because I just left it up there. Like there's no point in bringing it back. And I grabbed an arrow out, and I came back, and I was hoping he was still there, and he was still there. But now he's 20 yards ahead, and now he's about 50 yards out. So I pull up, and I'm like, yeah, and I move over a little bit, like that tree. Like there's no way I can hit this tree. And as soon as I shoot, I watch all the camouflage cover up suit that I had just do this, and that arrow just went and just dropped.
Oh my goodness, dude!
And that was the last time I ever seen him. He stood up, walked off, and that was the last.
That
time
was
I ever
it.
seen him.
He's like, I'm out.
Oh, dude, I was sick
so
of
frustrated.
And I had all these shots at 20 yards from a tree stand that I never took.
Yeah, dude. It's an emotional roller coaster, just like what we said, dude.
Yep.
Full of ups and downs.
Yep.
Hey, man. Great to meet you.
Yeah, it was a great meeting.
Thank you for coming on, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
It's been a pleasure talking to you and hearing your stories, man. And I definitely want to check you out on that competition shooting stuff. And it sounds super interesting, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be a blast.
Congratulations on the buck you killed, man. That's super nice, man. And
tickled to death, man. That ain't me. I don't shoot stuff like that.
Yeah. So when it happens, you're like, oh yeah, baby.
Yeah. When you hear like when you hear 130s, 140s, 150s, you're so used to seeing people, deer exaggerated, that when you finally see one, like even though this one here had a bunch of inches deducted, like when you see those deer, man, they're just big.
Yeah,
I mean, like they're big. I mean, like it's so easy, to throw a 130-inch number to an 8-point, but when you see a 138-point, you're like, dude, that's like a 180.
Yeah, he looks massive.
Yeah, man, and
especially shooting him from the ground.
Oh yeah, one the worst part about anymore, which bothers me more than anything, is like you see so many people take pictures to make them look big.
Yeah,
and it's almost even even like small deer, like they sit back and they hold them so far away that they make them look big, and these and hunters, like, they look at these deer and they're like, man, I'd never shoot something like that, but you don't realize how small it is. Like,
Yeah.
it's just small.
Yeah.
You know, or
There's
or else
ways
it-
of holding that deer to make it look, like you said, a lot bigger, man.
Man, it always bugged me. Like, if you want to shoot big deer, then shoot big deer. Like, why do you want to shoot this one and just try and make it look bigger?
Yeah.
Like all you're doing is just making other people feel bad for showing pictures of their deer. Like, it just irritates me.
Dude, I talk about it all the time. man.
Ah.
That social media has ruined it to where people, if I hate it when I get on there and I see somebody post a beautiful buck, and it just a small buck, nothing special.
Should let it go another
Beautiful-
year.
Yeah,
Should
or
let it go
they'll
another
say,
year.
"Well, he's not a big, but I shot him in it," and I'm like, "What do you mean he's not? He's big enough for you,
I can't
man."
stand that. I can't stand that line. Like, I've shot small deer, and I'm
Dude,
like,
look at that one. I mean, he's small. I liked him, so I shot him.
Yeah, I've shot a
You
bunch
know,
that size.
There's
But to say
I
he's
say
not
it all
that
the
big, but I
time.
shot him anyway.
Yeah,
It's
I'm like, come on, dude.
It's like, dude, like, you could have dealt with a doe.
You know you're proud of that deer. Don't
Yeah.
get on social media and act like, well, it's not that big. It's like, whatever, dude. You be
Yeah.
proud of it,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, and if they're not your friends for happy you're shooting it,
Yeah.
then leave them.
Yeah. My oldest son, he shot a buck, his first buck with the bow this last season, 25 season. And when he shot it, he messed it. He's like, so actually, no, he FaceTimed me. I'm in the woods and he's FaceTiming me. And I'm like, this must be important. He knows I'm hunting. So I'm like, what's up? He's like, I just shot a buck. Rah! And he's just stoked, you know what I mean? And so I go out there and I was hunting the other side of the property. So I meet up with him, go out there, and we track this buck and we find him. He didn't go maybe 50, 60 yards. And he wasn't a monster and by no means or whatever, but he was a great first buck. And I could tell by the look on his face. At first he was like, yes. And then he was kind of like, but he's not a hammer. But I was like, dude, that is your first bow buck, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, that's amazing. And he looks at me, he goes, I'm so proud of this buck. And I said, you should be, dude. That thing is awesome, man. A lot
Yeah,
of
you said
people
it, be
give you
happy with
crap,
it.
man. And I'm like, social media ruined
Especially
it.
with a bow. I mean, like,
Yeah,
it's a
dude.
different story. You like, a lot of people that's never harvested anything with a bow. I mean, like,
Yeah.
a lot of people have never had the opportunity, or if they have, like, it's just hard.
I know people that's hunted for years and never shot a doe.
You got to get
deer.
close. I mean, like, anybody can
Yeah.
pop one with a 30-06 at 100 yards.
Yep.
That's chip shot.
Yeah,
I mean, like, as long as you can hold the gun still, and even if you miss, like, you have a pretty big area to still drop it.
yeah. But getting that deer within 30 yards, 20 yards, whatever, and
Yeah.
not getting detected and
Yeah.
getting that shot off is amazing. And I'm like, be proud of that. I think everybody, man, whatever you shoot, be proud of it. You know what I mean? And if you're not proud of it, don't shoot it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's just the way it is.
Yep.
My wife runs a daycare. We feed these kids deer meat all year long. That's all they eat when they're here.
Yeah.
And because I'm like, I take pride
good
in
stuff.
that. It's healthy for them. They're not getting steroids and bull
No
crap,
antibiotic.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
no antibiotic. No
So I
steroids.
absolutely love it. So I'll go through the season. My intention may be I'm gonna wait on a hammer, and time goes on. Well, here's the bottom line: is I gotta get meat in the freezer. I got kids that I'm feeding with this, so my expectations start dropping a little bit. You know, I'll shoot them little smaller deer sometimes just because I got to get meat in the freezer.
Yeah.
And I told somebody the other day, I can tell you this: I've never shot a deer I wasn't proud of. I never shot a deer I didn't eat. You know what I mean? So
One, it's always funny, like, the people who, you have people that complain about people shooting little deers, but yet they're knocking button box out.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like, it's no different. Like,
Yeah.
if I go out and I shoot a little deer, like a little buck, like, that may not have been the one I wanted to hit, but it is what it is. Like, I got it. Like, I'm happy with it.
yeah.
You mean, but if you go out and you smoke fill three doe tags and all of them are button bucks, like, dude, like, you did worse than I did.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like, who
Yeah.
cares?
I understand the people that want to wait on the
Yeah.
the hammers.
Oh, dude.
I get it. If that's what you want to do.
Oh, yeah.
I more power to you. I want to do it too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm here for the meat. That's what I'm
Yeah.
hunting for. So
Yep.
that's what I'm gonna get. You
Yeah, I
know
go
what
for
mean?
meat late season if I need to. Like, I don't need a ton of it. Usually there towards, usually there about the middle of summer. Like, I'm rushing through trying to hammer stuff out. My problem isn't thawing stuff out. You know, like when you get an idea to make something, you got to thaw it.
Yeah. Well, you'd be like, man, I should make this.
Like,
well,
well,
then
I'm
I
gonna
got
go
to
to the
thaw
store.
it, so I can't do it till tomorrow.
Yeah, so now I'm going to get burger.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to get ground chuck.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, hey, man, I don't want to take up no more of your time, man. Like I said, I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, it's been a
great,
blast.
Great
It's fun.
meeting you, man. I hope you've enjoyed it, like you said, and maybe you'll shoot another one next year, and we'll get you back on here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm hoping so. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
That one needs a buddy on the wall.
Yeah, for sure. And everybody watching, man, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Hopefully, we were a little bit entertaining to you, and maybe you learned some tips or tricks along the way, maybe. And make sure if you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it if you did that, please. And but thank you again, man.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Good times.
Thank y'all for watching. And as always, blend better, hunt harder.
Every season brings us back for more. It's blood trails and bucktails round the fire where the whiskey sails. Every hunt's a story, every shot's a chance. What's your story to tell?